It's 11 p.m. The world is winding down right now. Netflix and a warm bed, someone next to them, eyes getting heavy. And you? You are tying your shoes. Not because this was the dream. Not because you sat in school thinking, yeah, I want to work when everyone else is asleep. But because rent doesn't care about your sleep schedule. Because the bill on the counter does not care either. And this was the job that said yes when you needed a yes. So here you are. 40% of Americans have worked nights at some point. 15% do it every single night, permanently. They stock the shelves you shop from. They pump the gas you fill up with at 7 a.m. without even thinking about who set it all up before you got there. And almost nobody talks about what it actually costs them. Not just the body stuff.
The real stuff. The money, the relationships, the quiet damage that shows up slowly, level by level, until one day you look up and wonder where the last 2 years went. This is that story. So let's go. Level 1, first week, first night. Clock in at 11. No manager walking past your shoulder every 20 minutes. No customers asking where something is when it is literally right behind them. No noise, no chaos, just you. Quiet hum of the refrigerators, one car pulling in from the highway every 40 minutes. And honestly, it hits different. You get more done in 4 hours than you ever did in 8 during the day. Nobody's interrupting you. Nobody's performing a whole conversation at you when you just want to finish the task. Just work, clean and simple, peaceful. And the first check looks decent too.
Night shift differential. 50 cents to $1.50 extra per hour depending on where you work. 40 hours a week. That is an extra $80 to $240 a month just for existing at night instead of the day. You drive home at 7 a.m., sun coming up, birds doing their thing. You feel like you found a cheat code. You have not, but that feeling is real for now. Level 2, first month. Here is what nobody puts in the job description. Your body runs on a biological clock, and that clock is not set by your alarm. It is set by sunlight, actual light hitting your eyes. That is what tells every system inside you, wake up, eat, be alive. You cannot negotiate with it. You cannot reprogram it in 2 weeks. Some people try for years. So here is what actually happens when you get home at 7 a.m.
You close the curtains, room is dark, you lie down. Brain says, no, because the sun came up an hour ago and your body got the memo. Sleep does not come, or it comes broken. 2 hours here, wake up, lie there, 1 more hour, alarm goes off, and you feel worse than before you lay down. You get maybe 4 to 5 hours of actual sleep on a good day. And here is where the money starts bleeding, quietly. Sleep deprivation hits your decision-making the same way 2 drinks do. Documented, real. 3 a.m., you are running on empty. There is food right there. You buy it. $7 for something you would never buy at full brain capacity. Every shift. $20 a week without even noticing. That is $80 a month on gas station food because you were too exhausted to pack a sandwich before you left the house.
First leak. Small, but it is open now. Level 3. 3 months in. The world is moving. Okay, this is where it gets personal. If you are married, your spouse is waking up when you are getting home. You pass each other like roommates on a shift rotation. Conversation happens in 10-minute windows. Date night? You're sleeping through dinner. You're working through weekends. If you have kids, school runs, homework, the chaos of the morning, all of that is happening while you are either at work or unconscious. You're present in the house. You're absent from the life. If you're in a relationship, Saturday night exists for everyone else. Friday plans, you clock in at 11, so you're the one who has to leave early, always. After a while, your partner stops being upset about it and just stops asking. That is actually worse. If you're single, meeting people runs on a schedule you do not have. Everyone's free time is your work time. Every social thing happens at 9, 10, 11 p.m. You're either walking into work or
passed out trying to get 4 hours before your next shift. And this is not dramatic. This is just the math of hours. Your free window and everyone else's free window, they barely overlap. And the overlap you do have, you spend it recovering, not living. Someone invites you somewhere on a Saturday. You say you're working. They say, let me know when you're free. They mean it. But after the third or fourth time, they just stop asking. Not because they're bad people, because you have become someone who is never available. And people, even people who love you, eventually stop planning around someone who cannot show up.
Level 4, 6 months in. This is not the tired you fix with a good weekend of sleep. This is the tired that sits inside you. Night shift workers, long-term, have higher rates of heart disease, higher rates of type 2 diabetes, disrupted metabolism that makes your body process food differently at 3 a.m. than it does at noon. Your cortisol, the stress hormone, stays elevated when sleep is broken. And elevated cortisol tells your body to store fat, not burn it. If you are trying to stay healthy, the gym runs on a schedule that does not match yours. You're sleeping when the morning crowd is training. You're at work when the evening crowd is training. The middle of the day, maybe, if the sleep actually came. And here is the financial part nobody adds up. Night differential, maybe an extra $150 a month.
Convenience food because you are too tired to cook, $80. Extra coffee to survive the shift, $30. The doctor visit you pushed off for 3 months and then could not anymore, $150 out of pocket. The prescription that came after, $40 a month. You're not saving the differential. The differential is paying for the damage the shift is doing. Level 5, 1 year in, $500. Let's do the actual math real quick. Night shift differential over a full year, roughly $1,500 extra. Convenience food, extra coffee, the small purchases that a tired brain makes, close to $600. Medical, easily $300 to $400 if you are not on great insurance. Missed social things you spent money on alone because you could not make it, another $100. Net gain from working nights instead of days, maybe $500 over an entire year. $500 for completely inverting your life, for missing the dinners, for the broken sleep, for the cortisol and the convenience store sandwiches and the relationship that got quieter than it used to be. $500. Nobody shows you that number before you say yes. Level 6. The only thing that actually matters. Here's the honest version. You did not choose this because it was what you wanted. You chose it because you needed the income, because something needed to be paid, because this was the job that was available when available was what you needed. That is not failure. That is survival. That is real. But here's the question. Is the night shift the situation, or did it become the story? Because those two things look the same from the outside, but they are completely different on the inside. Situation, I needed work, I took what was there, I am here right now. But I am moving. This is just my life now. This is who I am. The moment it becomes the story, that is when the real cost starts. Not the sleep, not the food, not the medical bills. The cost of a year becoming 2, becoming 5, becoming a decade, and one day looking up and realizing the temporary never got a deadline. The exit is not dramatic. One application on your day off. One conversation with whoever manages the schedule about moving to days when something opens. One skill that makes you hireable somewhere that does not run on graveyard hours. Not all at once, just a direction. Because temporary was always supposed to have an end date. You just have to write one in. Close. Night shift workers keep the world running while the world sleeps. And most of the world never thinks about that. Not even for a second. If this is you right now, this was not made to make you feel worse about it. It was made so you could see the full picture, the real math, what it actually costs when it stops being temporary. And if you know someone on nights, text them at 2 a.m. sometime. Not because they need saving, just because it is quiet at 2 a.m.
and nobody ever thinks to. That text is worth more than you know.